Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the last class for the week. We made it through a full week so far, and hopefully things seem to be adjusting. Everyone seems to be knowing now where to find everything. There really aren't going to be any new ways in which you're going to have to access any of the work, but you guys have been doing very, very well with that. So as I mentioned last class, please make sure that you do meet the due dates, because I will be tighter when it comes to these due dates. So I do give it some thought. I start thinking about what we're going to be doing next. How many evaluations we still have left. There's still lots of time still left in for this course, or for this component of the course. So it's important that you do meet these due dates. So please do meet these due dates. I will not be grading anything past these due dates. So be aware of that, starting yesterday, I guess, for today. So anyhow, today's lesson, we are going to be looking at setting goals for healthy eating and physical activity. I posted today's lesson online. I also created a video there for you. So I don't know which lesson is going to be better, the one that I'm going to do with you today or the one that I did already for that lesson. It's your choice if you want to kind of, listen in here and then maybe catch a few motivational keys that I may have pointed out in the other one. But I do have a special treat to share with you, you all, with regards to this lesson, because it is a very important lesson, and I can vouch for the validity behind this lesson, because it is something that I've utilized myself as an individual who, yes, as your phys ed teacher, I wasn't necessarily the most in shape person always. I was very much in shape when I was in school, when I was in university, and then by the time my last year of university rolled around, after I don't know, eating like McDonald's at like 1-2 o'clock in the morning after I'd finished the shift, and then all of a sudden at the end of the summer when I was putting on a pair of pants, I was like, oh my goodness, these do not fit me. And I never had that issue. I was able to eat whatever I wanted. I never really thought about it. And eventually, as you get older, it starts to catch up. And here I was in the mindset that I am invincible. So it wasn't going to happen to me. So I don't allow, like, I at one point I was thinking there's no way that I am going to gain any weight. So I was like, I can eat whatever I want. I can enjoy life. And then eventually it does catch up to you, and when you least expect it. So there were moments where I had ups and downs, where all of a sudden I gained the weight, and then I'd lost the weight, and then I gained the weight. And then eventually I got to that point where I didn't really care. And then, and I'm going to share this with you, I realized just how ashamed I was at what I looked like. But it was me, really. It wasn't what other, people kind of, poked fun, whatever. And I didn't really care, because I'm not one of those people who, puts any weight on anything that other people say about me. I'm a firm believer that you need to believe in yourself and try to be a good person, and be like, you're going to have people who are going to hate you. Who cares? Move on. Find people who are going to value you, who are going to respect you, who are going to treat you the way you feel you deserve to be treated. So I'm one of those people, like, you want to be one of those who, you want to spread gossip. That's the kind of lifestyle you want to live. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. So I'm brushing you completely off. So anyhow, today's lesson, we are going to look at making goals. And so let me share with you the lesson. here is the lesson that I'm sharing with all of you. So this is module number 4: setting goals for healthy eating and physical activity. So you're going to learn about goals and setting SMART goals by viewing the Google slides called "Goals and Setting SMART Goals" found on the laptop here. In fact, you're not really going to need to do that if you are going to be here present and attentive for our session, because technically at the end of our session, you're technically done today's assignment. Okay, you may go to the video and watch this video and compare it to how I explained it right now to you, because I was free flowing when I put this video together. But again, I'm free flowing here now with you, and I'm going to have the slides to kind of guide me, and then kind of hopefully, the same key points when I created this are going to trigger when I'm speaking to you right now. But there is nothing that you're going to be submitting, but you are going to take into account what we are going to be talking about today, because on Monday's lesson, and Monday's lesson and eventually Tuesday's lesson, you're going to take what you learned in these slides that I'm going to share with you in a moment to start to create your own personal SMART goals. So if you do want to access the Google slides, just click on the laptop to access it. I am going to cover it right now with all of you, or you can again watch the video at your own personal leisure. So let's share this. This is the Google slide. It's called Goals and Setting Goals. So we're going to be looking at what is referred to as SMART goals. Okay, and if you set SMART goals, and we're not talking about SMART like, you're intelligent. The letters SMART all stand for something, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But understand that if you set these so-called SMART goals, it'll help you achieve some of the things that you're hoping to achieve in your life. So let's move on. So goals and setting goals, learning goals of this lesson. So some of the learning goals that I'm hoping that you're going to get out of today's lesson. I will understand the importance of goals. Okay. Point number 2, I will be able to tell the difference between a short-term goal and a long-term goal. And lastly, I will be able to use the SMART goal setting strategy to create my own healthy eating and physical activity goals, which is going to be part of a future assignment in the coming classes. So this lesson is just there to kind of guide you along the way as we move towards these future lessons. So why goal setting is important? Well, goals are important because goals push us forward. It gives us some meaning, right? Let's face it, if you set goals for yourself, right? Think about the goals, and you should all have goals. Nobody should be, none of you should be walking around thinking, I don't really have any goals. Well, no, one of the goals should be to finish high school, right? It's not something everyone does. Yes, we might think everyone does it because there's so many, but there are some people who don't finish high school. So that might be one of the goals that you're going to set forward for yourself. So think about some of the goals maybe you might have once you're at Lieberman in September. Start thinking about what you're hoping to achieve, and so these are things that you need to always be looking to try. Even myself, to this day, I still have goals, and I make sure, because if I don't set goals for myself, like, why am I going to wake up in the morning? Right? So I need to put some kind of purpose in my life, and I do that by trying to achieve goals and understand that there's nothing wrong with not hitting it. Right? There's nothing wrong. Right? You need to make yourself accountable as to why you may have not achieved a specific goal, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Bring out the best in us, right? If you are looking to be the top student, or as high a student or high up marked student in your class, you're going to try to bring the best out of yourself by studying and working as hard as you can to try to achieve that. Let's say you want to make the school basketball team or the school volleyball team. Again, you're going to try a lot harder in that tryout if you really, really want to be a part of that team. And you're going to bring that better you out of you because you want to get noticed on, from the coach's perspective on that team. It helps us to believe in ourselves. We need to believe that, yes, we can achieve what we want to achieve. We want to clarify our long-term vision. What is your long-term vision? Some of you may have an idea as to what you want to one day be when you grow up, right? But understand that from now till then, a lot of things can change. So be aware of that. But again, let's say you don't have a goal as to what you like to do for a living down the road. That's okay. Okay, yeah, you're just, you're still growing. There's plenty of time for you to get there. And in fact, sometimes people will eventually change career paths along the way. So again, these are all considered the norms today. There are students who will go into university, and at the end of 1 year of university, they realize, hey, this isn't the program for me, and they eventually switch programs. Or maybe they decide to go to a college, or from a college, they decide to go into a university. Again, things happen, our goals can change, and it's important to find goals that are meaningful to us, that they're our goals and not someone else's goals. I mentioned about make us accountable. So understand that sometimes if you don't reach a goal, what was it, right? And the one thing we always oftentimes do is we blame others. Okay. Oh, that coach doesn't know what they're doing. Oh, that teacher doesn't know what they're doing. Oh, they don't really understand me. And it's like, well, did you really do your part? One of the things that I share with my students is when students say when they didn't do too well on an evaluation, let's say they studied for a test and they didn't do too well on the test, and they'll tell me, but sir, I studied for 5 hours on Sunday before that Monday test. I don't understand why I failed. And then I'll ask them, I go, so you studied for 5 hours? Yes, from 5 o'clock in the evening till 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like thinking, okay, in that 5 hours, were you honestly focused for the full 5 hours, just focused on studying on that material? Or did at any point throughout those 5 hours, did you look away from, let's say, your computer screen, your book, your binder, your notes, whatever it is, to go onto your phone? Did you go grab a snack and sit and enjoy your snack or dinner or whatever it was? So were you doing other things in those 5 hours? I can say I did work from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, but along the way, if I ate dinner, I had a lunch, I went for a walk, I took a shower, I played a video game, I read a book, I scrolled through my Instagram. Again, all that eats away at your time. So when you think that you studied all day or for 5 hours, you got to understand that, was it really a 5 hours straight? And then the other thing that I'm going to say is, why did you wait till Sunday to study for that Monday test? Why didn't you build a foundation of knowledge along the way leading up to that Monday test? We're not talking about having to sit and study hours on end. We're talking about, hey, just finding half an hour in my day today to just kind of skim through my notes for a test that I have in 4 days, 5 days. Okay, the next day I'm going to do the same thing. Maybe I might spend a little longer on it. And then the next day, a little bit more, and then go back and review some of that stuff. Again, make yourself accountable. Stop blaming others for anything that you may have not achieved. Setting goals will give us motivation. It gives us purpose to wake up in the morning to do something, and because we know there's like, hey, there is a goal in mind that I have yet to achieve it. I really want to achieve it because it's something I really, really want, and I'm not going to stop until I reach it. And then finally, it helps us to live our life to the fullest, because if we have these goals, we're living our life to the fullest because we're always trying to achieve greatness for ourselves. We're always looking to achieve improvement, self-improvement. I can't stress self-improvement enough. It's something that I try for myself every day. I try to be a better me than I was yesterday. And tomorrow, I'm hoping I'm going to be a better me tomorrow than I was today. Okay, so, and before we move to the next slide, here's a little anecdotal that I want to share. It's a dream until you write it down, and then it's a goal. But on top of that, remember, any goal is nothing more than a dream in your head. I dream to be a doctor, or I dream to be a lawyer, or I dream to be a dentist, or I dream to be a teacher. Great, that's in here. Okay, yes, write it down. That's important as well. But what are you going to do to achieve that? Right? What are you going to do to get there? Right? So these are all things where, yeah, your studies need to be considered a priority. Right? So your studies need to become a priority. Making sure that your day, you make the time to study. Right? So one of my goals is to try to stay in shape. And for me, that goal starts by making my healthy lifestyle a priority, like anything else, like going to work, like raising my daughter, like being a good husband. These are all things, these are all goals that I work towards. Short-term versus long-term goals. So this is really important to understand the difference between short-term and long-term goals. So short-term goals are goals that will take less than 12 months to achieve, and even shorter than 12 months. Sometimes some short-term goals can fit within a week, 2 weeks, a month. Okay, depends on what the goal might be. Okay, but they're all kind of within a 12-month span, so within a year's span. Long-term goals are goals that will take a year or more to achieve. So here are two examples. I will cut back on eating junk food once a week. Okay, that's a short-term goal. That's something that is a great way to start with healthy living and healthy eating. If you can cut down on some of the junk food, if you typically do this on day to day, Monday to Friday, and on the weekends, if you can cut, maybe do every other day, have that so-called junk food, that's a step in the right direction. That's a great short-term goal. Here's a long-term goal. I want to be able to run a full marathon by grade 12. Okay, here's the one thing. Try running 1 kilometer, okay, when you never ran before, right? It's going to be a struggle. 1 kilometer is going to be a struggle. So to do a marathon, which is, I think, 42 kilometers, is going to take, is long. Like, just the thought of running 42 kilometers in my head right now is just blowing my mind. Because as fit as I am, I could not run a marathon. I could not run a marathon because I am not prepared. I have not trained for it. I don't train to run that way. So that this would definitely not be, let's say, one of my long-term goals. Now, I'm going to piggyback this idea with the notion that I get from a lot of my grade 12 students, or students when they're reaching grade 12 and they tell me, sir, my grade 12 year, I'm going to study hard because that's the year that matters. What students don't realize is, yes, in terms of marks, your grade 12 marks matter. By the way, your grade 11 marks matter when it comes to your universities and colleges. Just an FYI, but don't worry about that right now. You guys, plenty of time to get there. Anyhow, but the funny thing about this, and that I'll tell the student, like, okay, have you ever studied hard? And go, well, sir, I don't really care right now because it's not grade 12. So you're telling me that in grade 12, your brain is just going to magically turn on this switch and go, this is it. I have to start studying now. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to run a marathon next year. I'm going to run a marathon next year, but I've not built towards it. And typically that student who will tell me, sir, I'm going to study hard next year in grade 12 is typically telling me this in June, end of June of their grade 11 year. And I'm like thinking, well, September is around the corner. September comes, I see the student work hard for a week, 2 weeks, and then everyone's back to their old selves. And the reason is we're all creatures of habit. Okay, so procrastination, right? Wasting time instead of doing what we need to be done is a bad habit. To break a bad habit is very hard to do. Think about anybody who's ever smoked. If you know someone who's a smoker who has tried to quit smoking, it is a very difficult habit to break. Take, for example, someone who's looking to lose weight, and losing some weight, happens okay for a week or two. They're exercising. I think about people at the gym come January 1st, and everyone's got their New Year's resolution, and the gyms are packed in the month of January, and then you eventually start to see a decline come February because everyone realized this takes a lot of work, right? So to break the bad habits that we have are hard. So the idea of that long-term goal of studying really hard isn't going to happen if you're not slowly building it in these younger years. So in these younger years, you need to start to be able to build that, be able to sit there, focused at a desk and study, or focus on a couch, wherever you study best. You can't just pick up and do that overnight. You can't. It's not going to happen. Okay, as much as you think you're going to want it to happen, it really doesn't happen. Anyhow, with regards to short-term and long-term goals, when it comes to certain fitness goals, they take a while. And I'm going to share with you, and this is what the little thing that I said I was going to share with you. This is what's referred to as my before and after my little fitness, I guess, transformation, should I say. So here is, I took these snapshots off my YouTube videos. This is a before. This is me. So you could search for this video online, and you'll hear my voice. That is me. And here, this is a year later, having lost about 60 pounds. Mind you, it didn't take me a year to lose the 60 pounds. It took me a lot less. It took me about 6 months to lose the 60 pounds. And I attribute all that. There's no such thing as a diet pill. There's just discipline, healthy eating, and making time to work out. I wasn't working out crazy hours in the gym. I wasn't spending 2-3 hours in the gym. Really, I was spending 45 minutes to an hour working out, but I made sure that when I got into the gym, I actually stayed focused on whatever my goal was for that gym session. So again, with regards to that before and after, that after was never the goal. I stumbled upon that as the goal. Originally, I was looking to lose about 10 pounds. And once I hit the 10 pounds, right, because that's a short-term goal, to lose 10 pounds is a short-term goal, because it can happen and it happened within a month. And then all of a sudden, once I had lost those 10 pounds and I was feeling good about myself, I thought, let me lose 2 more pounds. And I lost 2 more pounds. And then eventually I wanted to lose 2 more. And then it was like, hey, let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more. And I was doing small, short-term goals. But the long-term goal in my head eventually became, I want to live a healthier lifestyle. I don't want to put back that weight that I once had that I didn't really like, that made me very tired throughout the day. It made me very sick. When you see that before picture, I was sick very often. I was very sick very often, and once I did shed all that weight, I wasn't getting the headaches like I was getting. I was getting these migraines almost, on a weekly basis, and now it's it's months before I might get one, and it's usually from stress or what other reasons. Anyhow, moving on. So smart goal setting. When setting goals, the most effective method is to create SMART goals. And in the letters, SMART stand for something. So specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and they're time bound. So let's expand on them. So specific, what will be accomplished? What actions will you take? So what are the specific goals that you are going to have for yourself? So what is it that you want to accomplish? And so let's say, you want to accomplish, I want to, I don't know, graduate high school, top of my class. Okay. If you don't have a plan for it, really, then it's not really that, it's specific to that, but now it's still that dream because you've not kind of figured out what actions you will do to take that. So that's why one of the reasons why it's important to write down your goals. Is it measurable? What data will measure the goal? How much? How well? Things like I don't know, maybe finding out, hey, I made honor roll at school every year. That could be part of that goal of graduating at the top of my class, and just seeing your mark and saying, hey, where do I stand with regards to others? Asking around, but again, don't be that person who kind of brags in their face. I beat you. I got 95. You're 94. You're dumb. Like, yeah, no, don't do that. I don't recommend that. Is it achievable? Is the goal doable? And do you have the necessary skills and resources? One thing that I like to joke around is in terms of that achievability of a goal. And for me, I would love to be able to dunk a basketball. It will never happen. Okay, this goal is definitely not doable. So, especially at my age, I don't have the muscles that allow me to be able to jump high, and genetically, I don't have that in me. So I understand the genetic limitations that I have. So understand that sometimes genetically, if your goal is to be, I don't know, 6'5", but genetically there's, it doesn't, height doesn't run in your family, then that might not be a goal. Okay, that might not be a goal that's actually doable. And I definitely don't have the necessary skills to actually reach that because, like I said, genetically, my body is, and especially with my age too, I'm not capable of being able to get that kind of height. Relevance. How does the goal align with broader goals? Why is the result so important to me? So that's what you want to find out. You want to find out whether that relevance, that realisticness of the goal. Is it, is there a bigger goal it's going to help me with? So it's not just, okay, here's a goal, I want to reach it. Once I get it, that's it, I'm done. I can, just go to bed and never worry about anything ever again. No, you got to think of it as, how is this goal going to help you down the road? So perhaps being the top of your class, one of the top students maybe in the school, for marks, will now allow you to open maybe more doors for programs at post-secondary. Again, notice how that goal of wanting to, maybe get the top mark in the school or at least in your class, will translate to the idea of it opening doors for stuff that you could be doing post-secondary. And then lastly, the letter T, time-bound or time frame. What is the time frame for accomplishing this goal? So how long do you have? Okay, if you're looking at trying to be the top of the school for grade 9, well, hey, yeah, well, next year. Right, that's the time frame. You're looking to be the top of the school when you graduate. That'll be grade 12, right? So again, think about that time frame and understand that once you reach that time frame, and again, depends on the goal. If it's a different type of goal, maybe you might have a goal to I don't know what the goal. I'm going to think about. Myself here, let's say I was looking to be able to run 20 kilometers, so be able to run half that marathon, and I might say, okay, I'm going to give myself a year, and if I don't hit it in the year, I don't just give up on the goal. I'm going to try to fine tune the goal and try to figure out what do I got to do to change it so that maybe I can, and that I might need to extend my time frame. So understand that to extend your time frame might be necessary in order for you to reach that SMART goal that you've set for yourself. There you have it. There's our lesson on SMART goals. So if you were attentive the entire time, that's it. That was the assignment. So start thinking about some of your own personal goals. So that's really one of the things that you could be doing for this weekend, especially on top of the other work that we've got due today, and of course your workout journal. But start thinking about goals that you might have for yourself, because that's the thing. That's what's going to give your life purpose. So start thinking about these goals, and use that SMART goals technique to allow you to figure out what's the plan. Okay, what's the plan to allow me to get there? So one thing you'll see in the notes, it'll say about using Google Tasks. When you go to Google Drive, you're going to see a side panel on the right side of your computer. Hover around the bottom icon. It's called Google Tasks, and you can click on the tasks and you can actually start setting some of your SMART term goals. And one thing to understand, that successful people, one thing that successful people, the reason why they are successful is because they jot stuff down. I think about my most productive days are done when I write notes, and I put Post-its all over my desk. Okay, these are the tasks that I have, and I'm not leaving my desk, or I'm not leaving for the day until these Post-its tasks are done. So this way, I just take the Post-it off, rip it up. I know here's one task that needs to be done. So I jot down everything that needs to be done, so that this way I am productive. Because if I physically see it, right, I'm not going to put a reminder in my phone and not actually have a notification pop up and be like, yeah, I'm going to put a note in my phone that says I need to do this. I'm not going to put an alarm on it. I'm going to hope that I stumble upon it while I'm doing other things on my phone. Like, if you physically see it, I'll have Post-its on my laptop. I'll have Post-its on the side of my desk, up on a bulletin board behind my computer, just so I see, okay, what are things that need to be done, and I pinpoint, make sure what are things that need to be done now, and what are some things that aren't in a rush to get done but still need to be done, but I have still some time, let's say, to go about doing that lesson. So that wraps up today's lesson. I will stick around to answer any of your questions. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do not be shy to hit that thumbs up button. And while you're clicking the thumbs up, click on that subscribe to stay tuned to my new videos. Thanks for watching.